What if I told you that inside your body there are microscopic organisms that may influence whether harmful cells survive or struggle to exist? And what if one of those organisms, something most people never think about, could actually play a role in how your body deals with abnormal cells? Because here's something that might surprise you. Your body is not just made of human cells. In fact, there are trillions of bacteria living inside you right now. Most of them are not harmful. Many of them are essential. And some of them may play a powerful role in maintaining balance inside your body. Now here's where things become interesting. Scientists have been studying how certain bacteria interact with human cells. And what they've discovered is something that challenges the way most people think about health. Because cancer cells, just like any other cells, depend on their environment. They depend on signals. They depend on nutrients. They depend on the conditions around them. And when those conditions change, their behavior can change too. I'm Dr. James Quintin, oncologist, and I help simplify complex medical science so you can better understand your body and make smarter decisions for your health. Now, before we go further, I want to make something very clear. When you hear a phrase like cancer cells destroy themselves, it does not mean there is a simple switch or a single solution. Biology is far more complex than that, but what it does mean is that your body has natural systems that regulate how cells behave, and certain factors, including bacteria, can influence those systems. Now let's talk about something called the microbiome. This is the community of bacteria that lives inside your body, especially in your gut, and it plays a role in many important processes: your digestion, your immune system, your metabolism, and even how your body responds to inflammation. Now here's where the connection begins. Some studies suggest that certain beneficial bacteria may help support immune responses, and your immune system is one of the most important defenses your body has against abnormal cells. It constantly scans your body, identifying cells that don't belong, cells that are damaged, cells that are not behaving normally, and when it functions properly, it can respond to those cells more effectively. But when the microbiome is imbalanced, that system can become weaker, less efficient, less responsive. Now think about this for a moment. If bacteria can influence your immune system, and your immune system influences how your body deals with abnormal cells, then suddenly, bacteria are no longer something you ignore. They become part of the bigger picture, and this is where the idea comes from, that certain bacteria may help create conditions where cancer cells struggle, not by directly attacking them like a drug, but by influencing the environment those cells depend on. Now let's go one level deeper. There are certain strains of beneficial bacteria that have been studied for their role in supporting immune balance. These include bacteria that help reduce inflammation, support gut health, and maintain the integrity of your internal systems, because inflammation is one of the key environments where abnormal cells can thrive. When inflammation is high, cells are under stress, damage increases, control decreases, and that creates an opportunity for abnormal growth. But when inflammation is reduced and balance is restored, your body is in a much stronger position. Now here's something most people don't realize. Your microbiome is not fixed. It changes based on your lifestyle, your diet, your habits. Every day, you are either supporting beneficial bacteria or working against them. And that means your daily choices matter more than you think. Now let me ask you something. If your internal environment could be influenced by something as small as bacteria, and that environment plays a role in how cells behave, wouldn't it make sense to start paying attention to it? Because this is not about one miracle discovery. This is about understanding how your body works as a system. And once you understand that system, you begin to see things differently. Now in the next part, I'm going to explain something even more fascinating: how certain bacteria interact with cellular processes, and why researchers are paying close attention to this connection. Because this is where the real story begins. Now let's take this one step further, because this is where things start to get really interesting. Inside your body, your immune system is constantly making decisions. Every second, it's identifying which cells belong and which ones don't, which cells are healthy and which ones are damaged. And when it finds something abnormal, it can trigger a process that leads to the removal of those cells. Now this process is often referred to as programmed cell death. In simple terms, it's when a cell is instructed to shut itself down, not violently, not suddenly, but in a controlled, organized way, almost like the body is saying, "This cell is no longer functioning properly. It needs to be removed. And this is something your body does naturally, all the time. Now here's where bacteria come into the picture. Certain beneficial bacteria have been studied for their ability to influence the immune system, not by overpowering it, but by supporting balance, helping it respond more effectively, helping it communicate more clearly. And when the immune system is functioning properly, it becomes better at identifying abnormal cells, including cells that are behaving in ways they shouldn't. Now imagine this. If your immune system becomes more efficient, more responsive, more balanced, then its ability to manage abnormal cell behavior improves. And that includes processes where cells are signaled to stop growing or to remove themselves. This is where the idea of cells destroying themselves begins to make sense, not as a single dramatic event, but as part of a natural, regulated system. Now let's talk about something else that plays a major role: communication. Cells in your body are constantly sending and receiving signals. These signals tell cells when to grow, when to repair, when to stop. But when those signals become disrupted, that's when problems can begin. Now here's the connection. Your gut bacteria can influence these signaling pathways. They produce compounds. They interact with your immune system. They affect inflammation levels. And all of these factors influence how cells behave. So when your microbiome is balanced, those signals are more stable, more controlled, more effective. But when it's imbalanced, those signals can become chaotic. And chaos is exactly what abnormal cells thrive in. Now let's bring this back to something practical. What affects your microbiome the most? Your daily habits, what you eat, how you live, your stress levels, your sleep. All of these factors influence the bacteria inside your body. For example, highly processed foods, excess sugar, and lack of fiber can disrupt the balance of your gut bacteria. On the other hand, whole foods, fiber-rich vegetables, and fermented foods can support beneficial bacteria. And when beneficial bacteria thrive, your internal environment becomes more stable, more controlled, more resilient. Now think about the bigger picture. Cancer cells don't just grow in isolation, they grow in an environment influenced by inflammation, by immune response, by cellular communication, and yes, by bacteria. So when people hear a phrase like, "This bacteria helps cancer cells destroy themselves," what it really points to is the idea that certain bacteria may support the systems that regulate cell behavior, systems that keep things under control, systems that help the body maintain balance. Now here's something very important. This is not about one specific bacteria magically solving everything. It's about patterns, the balance of your microbiome, the overall state of your internal environment, and how that environment influences your body over time. Now let me ask you something. If your daily choices can influence the bacteria inside you, and those bacteria influence your immune system, and your immune system influences how your body deals with abnormal cells, then how important are your daily habits really? Because once you understand that connection, you start to see things differently. Now in the final part, I'm going to show you exactly how to support this system. Simple things you can do that may help create a more balanced internal environment, and that's where everything comes together. Now let's bring everything together, because this is where most people either understand it or completely miss the point. You've just learned that your body is not fighting alone. It has systems, it has defenses, it has communication networks working every second to maintain balance. And one of the most important parts of that system is something you don't even see, your microbiome, the bacteria living inside you. Now here's the reality. You don't control your health in one moment. You control it through patterns, daily patterns, what you eat, how you sleep, how you manage stress. These things don't seem dramatic, but over time, they shape your internal environment, and that environment influences how your body functions at the cellular level. So now the question becomes, what can you actually do? Let's keep this simple and practical, because complicated plans don't work long term. First, focus on what you feed your body, not just calories, but quality. Foods rich in fiber help support beneficial bacteria. Vegetables, fruits, whole foods. These provide the nutrients your microbiome needs to function properly. Now let's go a step further. Fermented foods, things like yogurt, kefir, and other naturally fermented options, contain beneficial bacteria. These can help support balance inside your gut. But again, consistency matters more than intensity. Small amounts, regularly, are more effective than extremes. Now let's talk about something just as important: what you reduce, because it's not only about what you add, it's also about what you remove. Highly processed foods, excess sugar, artificial additives. These can disrupt the balance of your microbiome. They can increase inflammation, and over time, they create an environment where your body has to work harder to maintain control. Now think about this. If your internal environment becomes more stable, if inflammation is reduced, if your immune system is functioning properly, then your body is in a much stronger position, not just for one thing, but for overall health. Now let's talk about something people often ignore. Sleep. When you don't get enough rest, your body doesn't repair efficiently. Your immune system becomes less effective. Inflammation can increase, and all of this affects your internal balance. So even the best diet cannot compensate for poor sleep. Now add one more factor: stress. Chronic stress affects your entire system, your hormones, your immune response, your gut bacteria. When stress is constant, your body shifts into a state that is not ideal for balance. And again, balance is the key, because cancer cells don't thrive in balance. They thrive in disruption. So when you reduce stress, even in small ways, you are supporting your body at a deeper level. Now take a step back and look at the full picture. Bacteria, immune system, inflammation, cellular signals. All of these are connected. This is not about one discovery. This is about understanding a system that you influence every single day. Now here's the most important thing I want you to remember. There is no single bacteria, no single food, no single habit that will suddenly change everything overnight. But there are daily choices that, when combined, create a powerful effect over time. Choices that support balance, choices that strengthen your body's natural defenses, choices that make it harder for abnormal cells to thrive, and easier for your body to maintain control. That's where real change happens, not in shortcuts, not in extreme solutions, but in consistency. Now I want you to think about this honestly. What are you doing daily that is either helping your body or making it harder for it to function? Because once you start asking that question, everything changes. You stop looking for quick fixes, and you start building real habits, habits that actually matter. If this video gave you a new perspective, share it with someone who needs to hear this, because awareness is powerful, and sometimes one simple idea can lead to a completely different future. Thank you for watching. And remember, your body is constantly working to protect you. The question is whether your habits are supporting it or not.